All right, so you snagged yourself a classic Whirlwind, huh? That's awesome. That manual cover with the guy's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, this machine's got personality for days, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
We're going deep on this one, folks. Got the operations manual, marketing stuff, even an internal memo that's kind of juicy. We're going to figure out what makes Whirlwind tick.
It's fascinating, really.
This isn't just playing it, it's understanding the care Williams put into this thing.
And you can see how they thought about the business side, too, even back then. Making it fun, but also making money, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
And it starts with setup, believe it or not. Playfield angle, how tilted the machine is. The manual freaks out about it. 6.5 degrees. Has to be.
No eyeballing it. They tell operators that straight up.
Yeah.
Lose money because your pinball's not level. Imagine.
Wild, right? But they meant it.
Pinball's physics, man. That angle changes everything. Too steep, it's brutal. Too flat, the ball just dies. Nobody wants that.
Like basketball on a hill, right?
Exactly. Williams wanted you to have the same experience no matter where you played.
That's dedication. But get this. Whirlwind let you fine-tune way more than just the angle. This thing was an instrument. The manual goes nuts with settings.
Oh, yeah, way ahead of their time.
Like games today have difficulty settings. Whirlwind was doing that in the 90s.
Think about the arcades back then. Operators needed to keep those quarters flowing.
Make it tougher or easier to get people hooked. Smart.
Brilliant. They could tailor the game for their location.
Right, like that compass difficulty thing. Not just a timer, but how many targets you needed to hit for multi-ball.
Make it a prize for the skilled players.
Exactly, or easier for beginners. And then there's the seller special.
Oh, controlling when that lit up added a whole other thing.
Risk versus reward, baby. Go for it early or play it safe.
Exactly. Makes you think. And even the automatic versus fixed replay. Small thing, but how generous the machine feels, you know.
It's wild how much control they gave operators. Beginners, experts, same machine. But hold on, things get a little less glamorous now. Mylar time.
Ah, yes, the Mylar saga. This memo from '89, things weren't so rosy.
It's like they hit a wall, had to scramble. The VP of engineering himself is freaking out. Stop everything! The Mylar wasn't sticking to the playfield.
Could you imagine the stress?
Nightmare. Production probably halted.
Manufacturing was a whole different beast then. New stuff all the time, didn't always work right.
Right. And their solution, hold on to your hats, J-Joy dish soap.
During installation.
Dish soap. You can't make this stuff up. And they're very clear, no cleaners with petroleum distillates. Mylar could peel right off.
They were figuring it out as they went, trying to avoid a disaster.
Imagine Williams pinball peeling playfields. Bad news. But kind of cool, though. Shows you the struggles, how they adapted.
Totally.
Makes it real.
Speaking of real, this Whirlwind audit table is wild. It tracked everything. Million-plus shots, seller specials, even burn-in cycles, how long the machine had been on.
Burn-in cycles. Now that's interesting.
Okay, hold on. What are those? Why is my Whirlwind keeping track?
Think of it like this. The machine's playing itself during those cycles, gathering data, learning its quirks.
It's got a mind of its own.
In a way. And that data, all those numbers, not just for the operator. Williams was using it too. Next level.
Early days of data-driven design. Which shots are popular, how players act.
So my Whirlwind is a spy, recording everything.
It's a window into how pinball evolved.
Wild. So we got meticulous setup, crazy customization, dish soap drama. But what about actually playing Whirlwind? What makes it special?
Well, it's a Pat Lawler design, for one. Legend. Fast, fluid, easy to learn, tough to master.
And Whirlwind is classic Lawler, right? The manual says speed and action. No kidding. Ramps everywhere. Those spinning discs.
Oh, those discs are something else.
It's intense. But we'll get into all that good stuff right after this quick break. Those discs, man. Talk about chaos.
Pure genius, though, right? You can aim, but who knows where it'll bounce.
One minute you're racking up points, next minute, bam. Cellar hole, thanks to those discs. Infuriating, but makes you want to try again.
Always one shot away from taming the Whirlwind. That's what Lawler understood, that little bit of chaos. That's pinball.
Keeps you on your toes. And the whole theme, too. Tornado Alley, wind sounds, that face on the back glass.
Over the top, in the best way.
Totally. It's an experience. But okay, let's break down the gameplay. Ramps, first off. Whirlwind is lousy with them.
Left, right, the lifter in the back.
And that super cellar door bonus ramp.
Yeah.
So long.
They're not just for show, though. Combos, points, keeping that ball moving.
Fast pathways to high score awards, the manual says. And we talked about customization, right? Even the ramps were adjustable.
Wow, seriously.
Angles, positions. Easier, harder, you name it.
That's detail, man. Williams was serious about letting operators fine-tune this thing.
Like they thought of everything. Now, the cellar hole, not just a drain, by the way.
Oh no, that's a whole nother thing on Whirlwind.
Mini game down there. Ball goes in, you might get lucky. Or unlucky, depends how you see it.
Super cellar door bonus.
Risk.
Risky, though.
Big time. Go for the ramp shot, risk it all, or play it safe. Decisions.
That's the good stuff. And don't forget those jet pumpers. Small, but they make a difference.
Chaos multipliers, those things. Bouncing all over.
Exactly. Keeps it fresh. Just when you think you know what's up.
Right.
Boom, jet bumper.
Unpredictable. Speaking of, we got to talk multi-ball. 2 modes because 1 wasn't enough. Like quick multi-ball and quick multi.
Sensory overload in the best way possible. Multiple balls flying, lights, sounds.
Mayhem. And 3 balls in Whirlwind, that's the $1 million+ award, like surviving a hurricane.
You've earned it.
Right. But amidst all that craziness, you got your targets, drop targets, keep things moving.
Oh yeah, gotta have those fundamentals. Top drops, the 3-bank.
And those stand-up targets that are just mean.
The best kind.
The manual, though, right, goes bonkers on adjusting the scoring for those targets.
No way. Let me see that.
Operators could change what each one was worth. Difficulty on a dime.
Like having a toolbox for pinball? They can make it perfect for their players, their place.
Exactly. Deep strategy for the pros, but still a blast for casual players. Which brings us back to the Mylar. Now that we've seen how this thing works. That Mylar, right? Imagine you're back at Williams, 1989, this problem lands in your lap. What do?
Oof, tough one. Stop everything. That's expensive.
Time is money, as they say.
But new adhesive, what if it's worse? So many ways it could go wrong.
Like pinball itself. Gotta make a move, hope it's a good one. That's what I love about this, though. We're not just looking at Whirlwind, we're seeing behind the scenes the tough calls.
They had headaches just like us.
Makes you appreciate it more, you know?
Totally. These games weren't perfect from the start. They had problems to solve, just like anything else.
And honestly, that makes them cooler. Knowing some Whirlwind out there, it's held together with dish soap. That's a story.
It's true. Add some character.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we've geeked out on the tech stuff. But the people who played this back then, why'd they love it?
Oh man, can you imagine when it first hit the arcades? Pinball was huge.
Prime time. And Whirlwind, it was for everyone, you know. Fast, crazy for some.
The action.
But then strategy, all those settings.
Yeah.
The hardcore players ate that up.
It's a game you could get lost in, totally. The sounds, the ramps, that whole vibe.
An experience, not just a game. You're up against nature, the wind.
Battling the elements. That's what makes pinball great, I think. When it becomes more than just parts, you know? It's a memory, a story.
Absolutely.
So, big picture time. What's the legacy of Whirlwind? Why are we still talking about it?
It's got to be that mix of new ideas, Andy pure fun. Williams pushed the limits, but it's still FUN to play, even now.
They took everything good and just cranked it up.
Exactly. And with style, you know, it wasn't just, here's a pinball machine. It was like, try to beat this.
And honestly, I don't think anyone has. So next time you fire up your Whirlwind, it's not just a game, it's a piece of history.
And it's a blast to play. What more could you ask for?
That's the truth. Well, folks, that's our Whirlwind deep dive. Thanks for writing this one out with us.